Hey, Crystal Maiden here for the final part of Amy's story. And yes, I'm going to be showing all of Amy going all the way to her next level. Like, I could have cut out the hub worlds entirely, but not only would that completely break the immersion, but it's a part of the game. You can't skip this. Something interesting about Amy that I forgot to mention in Sonic CD is that the reason she was able to find Sonic in that game is because tarot cards told her that she would meet him if she came to the little planet. That's something the franchise doesn't really focus on too much, is Amy's use of tarot cards. We see them mentioned in Sonic Battle and in Sonic Chronicles as an attack, but that's about it. And I think Amy would have been more interesting if they gave her psychic powers and stuff. At least you can do this. You can just walk on top of the trees. Like, that's pretty awesome. Always frustrating when you end up falling down, though. Did you know that Amy was originally meant to get a speed boost upgrade? Yeah, one of the bug testers actually suggested giving her a speed upgrade to enhance her gameplay. And they probably would have implemented that if they had enough time to finish the game entirely. It reminds me of how in Sonic 06 they originally planned to give Silver a speed boost upgrade. Don't know why they didn't make her fast to begin with.
Remember this bridge?
I mean, if she was too fast, then it would make her too slippery to really work for the kind of puzzle level design she's good for, because she would have a hard time stopping, and she would run past all things she's supposed to interact with. I get that. But she's still too slow. So now you're heading into the final level of the game. And it really sucks having to do the light puzzle all over again. Again, I don't understand why they decided to put Metal Sonic in a pod instead of using him. Why would Eggman waste his best robot like that? And it always takes me forever to do this puzzle. There was once a point where I had this completely memorized, but that's all gone now. And when I first did this puzzle, I had to look up a guide to figure out how to do it. Why did they think this was a good idea? Why is this light puzzle in here? Why can't you just go directly into the level? This is such a terrible, terrible idea. You can't go into level from here, so there goes that idea. About Hedgehog Hammer, it actually has an unused second section taking place after the one we're all familiar with. But all it has in the final game is a single ring. So I think they would have originally planned to add more to Hedgehog Hammer, so that maybe after you beat the game you could go into sub-games and play a different version of it. That would have been cool, I guess. The Hedgehog Hammer is also pretty annoying because when you attack with the hammer, it has a much wider radius than you'd expect. So you don't just attack the sock puppet that's directly in front of you. You can also lose points by having an Eggman doll be destroyed when you don't want it to. Just because the Eggman doll happened to be next to the Sonic doll that you hit. I mean, it's good for racking up points. Atari sound effect, go!
Not you again!
Yakety sax music, go! And obviously if you walk back into zero at the beginning, you'll die. Hot Shelter has 2 unused sections after the third one. They didn't actually get the chance to program any geometry or starting coordinates into it, but they at least have texture files. They use music from Act 2 and 3. The 4th section of Hot Shelter has a single ring in it, and the 5th section is completely empty. There's a file for the Mystic Ruins Angel Island area in Amy's story, but she never gets to go there. So it implies that she was originally meant to go to Angel Island at some point. maybe they originally planned to have her get into Red Mountain. A lot of the stories in this game were originally meant to be longer. Like, Tails has a flag for being able to get into Emerald Coast, which implies that he was able to beat the level at some point, and they just decided against it. So, by this point I should probably start talking about the various voice actors in the game. But first, this puzzle sucks. Like, this is easily one of the worst parts of the entire game. I got really unlucky with this one. It isn't actually mandatory to have all the doors open up before you leave the room, but I used to think that because I got so unlucky here. I swear, all of the doors that I went into led to the dead end. It's completely randomized which door is the right one. This is a speedrunner's nightmare. Not that anyone actually want to speedrun Amy's story. I mean, I'm sure there's a few who do it just for the sake of being contrary, but... how is this fun? This isn't even a puzzle, it's just trial and error. I'm not even really sure what those blue robots are supposed to look like. Oh, god damn it! Who thought this was a good idea? And then I go back into a door that was already opened. I don't know why I did that. And wait, that door was already open too, but suddenly it has the checkpoint? Here's the end of the level, finally. And by now I should probably give my opinions on the voice actors of the game. The person voicing Tails in this game is Corey Bringus. And I really don't like how he makes Tails sound, because Corey Bringus makes Tails sound very bratty, to be honest. Like, he sounds way too overconfident for someone who's supposedly supposed to be going through a character arc where he's going from insecure to a lot more confident. Like, he doesn't sound insecure at any point, and not only is it because of his lines, but it's also because the voice actor makes him sound so bratty. I mean, it's a good thing that they actually went through the trouble of getting a little boy to voice the little boy character, because a lot of the time they just use a female actress to voice the little boy characters. But most of the time, little children are terrible at voice acting. See Anakin Skywalker for an example of that. So it really is better that they get an actress to play Tails. Because even though he is not a girl, at least the actress would have more experience with voice acting because she's older and stuff. You know who would be a good female voice actor for Tails? Tara Strong. You know, the voice of Timmy Turner. She has a lot of experience with voicing little boys and actually making them sound like little boys. Fancy that. Because nowadays, Tails has a voice actress, but he just sounds like a girl. And I just hate how raspy and scratchy his voice is now. I'll admit it, I hate the new voice actors. I don't really like how they don't suit the characters that they have at all. I don't just love getting lost in the jungle maze. Even if you have a map, you can still easily get lost because you don't have the mini-map, so you have to constantly check the map. At least the map makes it obvious what's the river and what isn't, so you can follow the river and make your way out of it that way. But you don't want to stay in the river because it makes you go so slow. Amy's slow enough on slopes because she can't really run on them. So Knuckles' voice is Michael McGahern. I don't really know how to pronounce that. He's alright. He's definitely the most sympathetic sounding Knuckles we've ever had. Oh god damn it, why do you have to climb ladders so slowly? Why can't you just stand on a rising platform to get over there quicker? But yeah, Knuckles' voice is very sympathetic. It doesn't entirely suit a tough guy. But of course, if they made it suit a tough guy too much, then it would make Knuckles sound like a stereotypical tough guy instead of a more well-rounded character. Scott Dreer is definitely my favorite Knuckles. So I think they do a lot better with him in the sequel.
Yay, it's them! Oh no! Are you okay? You idiot! How could you do this?
She was supposed to be shown to hit him across the head, but it was so badly animated. Like you can barely tell that she whacked him with her hammer because it was so badly animated. I do like this cutscene though. It makes Amy look like a badass. Because after all that time of running away from Zero, she decides, no, screw it, I'm gonna fight this guy. I hated this boss when I first played it because the rings are behind you when you start out the fight. And you start out the fight with 0 rings, obviously. So, when I first played this boss, I would constantly die over and over again because I walked into the camera to get the rings because I couldn't see them, so I was blindly stumbling into the camera. And as a result, I constantly walked into the electrical gate with no rings over and over again. That's a horrible placement of the rings. The boss fight itself is ridiculously easy once you get rings though. Just knock it into the electricity because that's the only way that you can get invulnerable. Sure, it's a good thing that they decided to spontaneously spawn electrical gates here for us to use. Because otherwise Amy wouldn't have been able to fight him at all.
Wake up, Birdie.
And then the electrical gates just magically disappear.
Are you okay? Can you fly?
And that pink bird right there is Gamma. And it's kind of weird because you'd expect the pink bird to be the female one. And Gamma always came off as a man, like he has a male voice. So it's really weird thinking that, is Gamma actually a girl? Because the bird that was in him is pink.
Whoa!
So that's kind of weird.
You did it!
And then Amy decides to practice her jazz hands. Not sure why. I'm guessing she's imitating the birds flapping their wings. Looks kind of lame. And even though the birds fly away, they're back for the last story for some reason.
I'm so happy!
I have to say this because I have no mouth.
I'm going to
Seriously,
try my
why
best
did they
to
not
do
give her a mouth? And that one came out of nowhere.
Just watch me. I'll make that Sonic respect me. And by that time, it's gonna be too late.
I don't like that last part, but for the most part, I like her lines there at the end. Like, she'll make Sonic respect her. The problem is that it goes nowhere. She never does get Sonic to respect her. She never really... Hell, if anything, her characterization gets worse after this game. Really makes me wish that the people who wrote Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 were just the writers for the rest of the games. Because the problem is that they don't really keep the same writers around for every game. They just hire writers and then drop them afterwards. So that's why there's no real consistency in writing. Because they got these really good stories with the adventure games and then they just hired new writers and it all went downhill from there. But yeah, that was Amy's story. And, well, it's not horrible. Amy is more of a slow-paced puzzle platformer type of character. But her camera is terrible because she constantly has the camera not facing the right direction. So, like, you all remember the be careful not to fall off room, right? That's not really a problem with Gamma because he can hover. But with Amy, it really goes to show you how useful the free camera mode can be at times. And there's also the fact that she's constantly expected to pick up blocks. Which one, what is a block puzzle like that doing in my Sonic game? And two, good luck even getting the game to recognize that you want to pick the block up in the first place. Also, Amy's way too slow for my liking. But even if Amy was fast, her level design isn't really that fun to begin with. And as for her story, it's actually pretty good, because even though she's Sonic's stalker, she's not spending the entire adventure doing nothing but chasing Sonic. She has her own goal to her. She has a goal that represents what she's supposed to be. She's a sweet, idealistic, cheerful... She's a sweet person. And because of that, she dedicates her entire adventure to helping a bird. Like, Amy is concerned with the little things in life, while Sonic is more concerned with the big, important things like stopping Chaos and Eggman. So I guess Amy's role is to remind Sonic that the little things count too. As for her voice actor, I definitely think that Jennifer Dullard, or is it Dullard? However you pronounce it, Amy's voice actor is the best that she has ever been in the entire franchise. I think her performance kind of gets worse by the sequel, not really sure how that happened. And she definitely doesn't sound as good in Heroes. I think she sounds... like she doesn't sound quite the same way in Heroes. I just love her performance in this game because she sounds like a female Sonic. She sounds sassy and sweet. Like, she still cares about... like, so she's not a mean person. I hate how her voice actors after this try to give her a really high-pitched sounding voice to try to make her sound cute. But she's not cute in the slightest. She can't be cute because she's not like Tails. She's not 8 years old or anything. So I don't know why they gave her an annoyingly high-pitched voice after this game. But right now, Amy's voice sounds perfect for what she is. She kind of sounds like a Valley girl, but that's what she is. She's basically, she should sound like a female Sonic. She's sassy, so she has Sonic's attitude, and she's also got a friendly side to her, just like Sonic. Eggman had the voice of the late Dean Bristow, and he was a great voice actor. He made him the perfect mix of intimidating and comically hammy. Like, I love his performance in this game, it's hilarious. I'm only pretty apathetic to Eggman, because he's so cliched and generic, and there's really nothing to him. But Eggman's performance in this game is just hilarious. And the same person who voiced Gamma also voiced Tikal's father. And again, I don't really think that his voice suits Tikal's father. You really wouldn't expect the voice like that to belong to a tribal chief that's a warmonger. Kind of make him sound comical, to be honest. But I love his voice for Gamma. Even if it is a little too robotic, I love how deadpan serious it is. And the voice for the train announcer is Lanny Minella, who went uncredited for some reason. And she actually went on to voice Rouge in Sonic Adventure 2. And of course there's Ryan Drummond. I already talked about him in previous LPs. He's obviously the best Sonic. But that was Amy's story. After this is the worst part of the entire game.